Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Defend Philly. I'm Bonnie Hanamirian, and with Lewis Coco, we're here to break down the latest Flyers news. So, Lewis, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Vladar injured. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, if this isn't a long-term injury, I think that would be really, really great for the team. It, it, I, Everyone seems to be speculating that he got injured at some point early in the Buffalo game last night, and then actually continued to play through it before leaving the game. If it's a short-term injury, I think we'll be okay. If it's a long-term injury, the Flyers are currently on the longest skid of the season so far, 4 games. They haven't lost 4 games in a row yet this season. Um, and look, the Metro's tight, but it could slip away really fast. So if all of a sudden the Flyers just lose a bunch of games, Dan Vladar is out long term, and the Flyers lose a bunch of games, it's not good for the playoff picture. I think Alexei Kolosov, if he has to go at some point, could do all right. He's had a pretty good season, a 908 save percentage after 19 games in the AHL with the Phantoms. He's looking pretty good. 2.54 goals against average is pretty darn good. But Sam Ersson has been such a weak link this year, and Alexei Kolosov isn't going to come in and just start all the games that Dan Vladar was supposed to start. So I don't know. It's scary. What do you think
Yeah,
they could
I'm
pull
not
out of it?
I'm not a person that I'm being be very honest about this. Sam Ersson is not a goalie who you can rely on. And so the tandem was somewhat working, but let's be honest, in the past 10 games, he ranked fifth worst in goals saved above average. And he was sixth in percentage of expected goals. And then your last stat is he's tied for last in save percentage. That's not someone that can hold the weight of this team. We are seeing this Flyers team deal with that struggle that we talked about last episode that we feared would come and that everyone I'm a person that I've seen enough Flyers hockey that I'm not buying in. I will not buy in until they get through February. They get through January, February. And we're seeing this kind of, I wouldn't say collapse, but they're out of a playoff spot. We're seeing this decline in performance. And Vladar going down is so on par with what I predicted. Like having a really great, above average start to your season, and then you're putting the rest of your season, the middle part, like the bulk of it, on a goaltender who's tied for last in save percentage. And so I can't say I gotta give you a little I told you so, I thought this would happen, but your Ristolainen not playing. He didn't play last time. You have Drysdale back, but you lost 3 games. And then last night, which was Wednesday night's game, was just atrocious. It was a hard watch. And going off of what you started with, I don't know when he got injured, but he allowed what, 2 goals on 5 shots.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't a lot.
and that was Vladar before Erison
Right.
stepped in. So I like the back. You could say what you want about these NHL teams, but right now, you actually, no one's debating it. You need a strong goaltender, and we had that, and we proved that we were successful with that. But relying on Erison for the rest of who knows how long, even if it's just a month, a month would be too much, but even for just a couple games, it's scary. And this division's close, like you said, it's within a couple points, and the Flyers cannot afford to drop a week worth of games.
And it's tough to the Flyers, they played Toronto, so they played the Ducks, a highly emotional game. Then they played Toronto. They played Tampa back to back at home, and Tampa's been on a heater. Toronto. At the present moment, Toronto is sixth in the Atlantic, which isn't great. But for whatever reason, Toronto can just turn it on sometimes with some of their high end talent, and they were even missing guys. William Nylander didn't even play in that game, and they still found a way. But Tampa Bay's been on an absolute heater, and now Buffalo, in their last 10 games, they're 8-2.
And
So the Flyers are just running into all these teams. And now, look, I'm not. That's not to say that I'm giving the Flyers the benefit of the doubt, because they've talked about it all season that they need to play in tough spots, and I thought they have to play tough in tough spots, and I really thought they were learning how to do that after the Ducks game, but apparently not. There was 14 shots on net last night. and 5 goals scored for the Buffalo Sabres. That's just not a good look.
It's
And
not.
you're right. I mean, having Airson come in and have to continue with the bulk of the season, that scares me a lot. So I guess here's my question: you're not enjoying the ride anymore, are you? Because that was part of our last episode. Was, hey, do we enjoy the ride? Do we expect more? Kind of seems like you're not enjoying the ride.
I think, and this is how I stand with all Philly sports teams, they are meeting my expectations. I didn't enjoy the ride. I didn't get too high on it. I was just like, okay, this is amazing. But I knew in the back of my head that this January, February stretch is the hardest. And that has been shown year after year. I mean, and let's keep some perspective. They're 16th in the league. Not awful, not awful, but not great. And listen, this division, as I'm saying, like this division, so the Hurricanes currently lead with 60 points. The lowest team is the Rangers with 46 points. And so
Yeah.
the Flyers are at 52 points in 45 games, tied with the Penguins, which is nowhere you ever want to be.
No, no, and that's what makes tonight's game. We're
Mhm.
the puck drops in a couple hours here.
Thursday
That's
night.
what makes tonight's game so crucial for the playoff picture for the Flyers. Because the Flyers, if you look at the wild card race in the Metro, the Flyers are how many? We are two. They're 2 points out of the second wild card spot, which is currently held. Or I said the Metro, the wild card race in the East.
East, yeah.
There are 2 points out of the second wild card spot, which is currently held by the Bruins. But here's where it gets interesting. So the Flyers are, in the wild card ranking, you have the Sabres in wild card one, Boston in wild card two, Toronto. Now we're under the line. Toronto's got 53 points, 46 games. Pittsburgh 52 points in 45 games. The Flyers 52 points in 45 games. So the Flyers could, in theory, with a win tonight, actually, and if I think Boston's playing tonight because actually Zdeno Chara is
Yes, they are.
retiring,
They're retaring his number. Also, can I
retiring
just
his
say
number.
favorite Bruin ever?
If you had to have a favorite Bruin, I
I
guess
I love him.
I
He is the only Bruin that while he was actively playing, I was rooting for.
that's probably that's okay to say. I think that's fair. I mean, he seems like just such a genuine guy
Such a
and a
nice guy. Runs the marathon,
giant.
runs the Boston
Yeah,
Marathon every year.
yeah,
Insane.
and seemingly, I mean, not on the ice, but in person, a gentle giant. What's he like, 6'9" or something?
Giant.
He's enormous. And on skates, he was even bigger. I actually saw, to not to completely derail, but I saw a picture of him. Do you remember Nathan Gerby? Nathan Gerby was in the league a long, long time ago. Nathan Gerby. Nathan
Yeah,
Gerby.
where is he now? Chara's number is
Retired.
getting hung in the rafters.
Well, Nathan Gerby's retired, but he was also 5'4".
Oh,
So seeing him stand, I think he's one of the shortest NHL players in history. So seeing him stand next to Zdeno Chara, and there was a picture that somebody posted on Twitter. It's unbelievable. Zdeno Chara towers over Nathan Kirby. They're playing
we'll
the
say
same
like
sport.
Jason Kelsey is like a big teddy bear, but
Yeah,
like Zdeno Chara was the one person who I was like, you are a teddy bear. And like I can just tell.
yeah. So not to
You
get
can check all
complete
the flyers into the boards, and I'm still like, you're yeah. But both teams
I was
played
saying
tonight.
on the Flyers podcast, crazy to be praising Zdeno Chara, but not to get completely derailed, but the Flyers actually have 2 games in hand here on the Bruins. So the Bruins have 47 games, the Flyers have 45 games played, and they're only 2 points out of that wild card spot. So with a win tonight, and a loss for the Bruins, in theory, the Flyers could jump up into that second wild card spot. It's not going to be an easy test because the Penguins had our number last time. It's obviously, that cross-state rivalry has seemed to reignite at least a little bit. One of the craziest hockey games I've ever been to or ever watched was this past, what I think it was October, I think it was late October. The Flyers and the Penguins duked it out. It went to overtime. There was 2 penalties. Both teams had a power play opportunity, all within a 5 minute. There was a fight before overtime. Both teams had a goal overturned in overtime. Both teams had a power play in overtime, and the Flyers ended up winning it in the shootout. It was an unbelievable game. Flyers go to Pittsburgh later on. It's a lot of animosity. So, I mean, it's
The
definitely not.
rivalry again.
It's not going to be easy sledding
Let me
tonight.
just say though, the fact that that is a rivalry again hints
It's
at
awesome.
hockey's coming
It's
back.
awesome.
Hockey's
Hockey's
coming
coming
back
back
to
to
the
Philadelphia. It's
state.
awesome. It
I guess
is,
Neverland, but
well, yeah, I mean, yeah. The
back to
Penguins,
city.
uh, uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. City.
um, but yeah, in theory, the Flyers could jump up into a playoff spot. And look, people are freaking out. Season's over. The Flyers aren't going to make the playoffs anymore. There is how many games left? How many games we have left? 45. it's
Third.
there's a lot of games left in the season here, and you know to say that it's over is there's 37 games left. To say that it's over,
Thank you. I was doing
it
my math.
to say that it's over is ludicrous. To say that it's over and to be 2 points out of a playoff spot currently with 2 games in hand is ludicrous. It's not over till it's over. And this might be a situation where it goes to game 82, and to determine if the Flyers end up making the playoffs. But the Metropolitan Division is so tight.
So tight. And it's
The,
not like in the
we're
league
only
then.
the Flyers are only 3 points out of second place
There you
in
go.
the Metro. They're only 8 points out of first place,
Of
but
this
they have
point now.
they have 2 games in hand,
Yeah.
up on the Carolina Hurricanes. So
And also you look at like the whole Eastern Conference, like there are 8 points between the top seed and the Flyers right now. I mean, let's just take the Western Conference out of this because the Colorado Avalanche are blowing everyone
yeah, they're
out.
gonna yeah
74 points.
yeah
My prediction, sorry to get sidetracked. My prediction, and I'm saying it now, is they're going to finish with the best record and they are not going to make a deep playoff run.
they're not gonna make a playoff run.
A deep one.
Oh, a deep one. That
I
would
think
be
they're going to be out in
crazy.
the second round.
That would be
Do not
unbelievable.
think that they are going to be able to make a deep playoff run.
That would be that would
That's
be
my
nuts.
prediction. And I think that it's going to be like total breakdown and rebuild.
Wow.
They're going to have to. I mean, yeah, that's my like wild prediction. That's my reckless speculation.
That is some reckless speculation. Okay, Hugh
But
Douglas.
going back, the Eastern Conference is close. I mean, listen, we're 6 points out of the top six. No, eight, nine. We're 9 points out of the top seed in the entire conference. So truthfully, it is not anyone's game, but you're still in it until you're not. And everyone right now is still in it
9 points out of the top seed,
for
and
the
we're
Flyers.
right, and the Flyers are in 11th place
Mm-hmm,
out of 16 teams in the
mm-hmm.
conference. So if the 11th place team is only 4.5 games out of the first spot, 4.5 games out of the first spot, and on some of these teams have 3 games in hand. The Detroit Red Wings have 60 points, so they have 8 more points than the Flyers. They've played 3 more games than the Flyers have. So it is this conference is so tight that to say that it's over with 37 games left in the season is crazy to me. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Now,
And let's also think about the fact that like heading into the season, not points back up, but like our expectations were to be an above 500 team,
yeah,
to have a winning record.
yeah,
And right now, they have gone above expectations, and we just need to accept that and sit back and remember where we started this season, right?
yeah.
We started this season thinking that this team had to just meet the bare minimum to be considered a okay team.
To be considered a
And
success for the
right.
season.
And so in turn, now everyone's like, they need to make the playoffs to be a successful season. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we need to take a step back and remember that this is a long process and they are just at the start. Last year was a rebuild year still. So we're like still baby steps. While they had accelerated in the beginning and they were doing great, great. You can enjoy that, but be realistic about where we are. And I also think, I hate to bring this up, but people got to cool it on Michkov. Yeah, he had 2 turnovers the other night. He hasn't been playing up to expectations, but the off ice drama around him and the hatred, no one hates him. Like, no one reporting on the team, watching the team in the locker room hates the kid. And he's a kid. They aren't liking what they're seeing. Everyone goes through slumps, and I think that's fine. But I also believe that it's become a bigger narrative than it needs to be, and it's going to harm the on ice production, and it's going to harm him in a young age in like just getting used to this team. He had a fine season last year. This season, it might not be up to expectations, but the way we're blowing it out of proportion, it's not like he's Orion Kerkering throwing the worst pass we've seen in the season ending, or the ending the season in the worst way, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just not playing up to expectations, which still needs to be highlighted, but not to this extent.
And I I I see what you're saying. He's 21. He was fourth in the Calder rankings last year, so he was the fourth best
Yeah,
rookie in the whole NHL, and there were a lot of rookies in the NHL last year. So to have
at
a
least 32.
season, it was a good season. We can't lose sight of the fact that he had 63 points in 80 games as a rookie, his first year in the NHL, coming out of Russia. They play a different style
North
of game.
America.
It's a North American game is so different than the Russian game. So, and again, it was good enough to have fourth in the Calder, and there were guys ahead of him like Dustin Wolf, who I like the story. You don't always see goaltenders in the Calder trophy race for rookie of the year, but it's a completely different thing. A winger versus a goalie. It's hard to measure those two
Yes.
things in the same metric. So personally, I think he was in the top three of the rookies last year if we were to throw out, the Dustin Wolf thing. But at the same time, I get it. Yeah, like a lot of criticism, fine. But at the same time, he's supposed to be producing. Like he's supposed to be the guy. Trevor Zegras has turned into the guy. And I honestly, I don't even think Trevor Zegras, there was that much of an expectation on Trevor Zegras this season, because this was a reinvent yourself season for Trevor Zegras. Now, you could have thought that Trevor Zegras was going to come to Philadelphia and play with his hair on fire because he wanted to reinvent himself, and he was excited to play for Rick Tocchet, and he was excited to play for a new franchise and get out of the cesspool that is Anaheim. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, Matvei Michkov is supposed to be your killer. He's supposed to be a killer. And to have 23 points in 44 games this year. Now, I know he missed a game, or he missed at least one game, maybe two. Actually, I think he got scratched at one point early in the season. I don't exactly remember.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be producing. He is supposed to be producing. You know, I don't see it as a problem for people to be saying, dude, where's the production from the kid who's supposed to be the guy? He's supposed to be the guy. So I don't. I think I understand where it could get to his head, and if the Flyers might need to turn into the Philadelphia Eagles here for a second and just block out all the outside noise and not let it get to them as much as
And then
as
your
much as
season ends early in the playoffs and it's great.
at
Everyone's
least they,
happy.
well, in the Flyers case, it'd be nice for them to make the play.
Then we'd
It'd
be
be
happy.
nice for them to make the playoffs.
But
I'd be happy if they got into bounce in the first round of the playoffs because they made the playoffs. It's a
yeah.
huge improvement. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. That I think, first of all, welcome to Philadelphia. This is what it's going to be. I know it's the language barrier stuff. It's probably difficult to really explain that. He's never been in North America, but that's just, you're supposed to be the star of the team. You're going to get criticized if you're not playing well, especially, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but especially the way the season started for him and coming in at it. And I don't want to say the phrase that everyone seems to get so up in arms about, but it's true. He had a slow start to the season. He's supposed to be producing. I don't really think that's that big of a problem.
I hear you. I just think that at this point, the amount of criticism is, I worry about it pushing him out of the city. And I worry about him having a Trevor Zegras moment where he goes to a new city and he flourishes. And I don't know. It's also gotten to a level where I've seen people post saying that they're going to give a standing ovation to him. And I'm like,
This,
guys,
this isn't the Phillies.
this isn't the Phillies, A. B, that is not, I think it's just gotten to a ridiculous level where all of the criticism is criticized and hyper analyzed, and we're at a point where I'm like, everyone just needs to calm down. Yeah, he's not producing. No one's denying that. No one's denying he's having a worse season than last year. No one's denying he's not meeting expectations. But the level we're taking it to in the media, on Twitter, everywhere has just gotten obnoxious and absurd. And everyone needs to calm down.
Yeah, I mean, look, in the most recent episode, one of the big topics that we had was, do we enjoy the ride or do we expect more? And I did some mental gymnastics. I was saying to myself, I think I really need to expect more. And then by the end, I explained myself into, just saying, maybe we should just enjoy the ride. Um, Look, I'm still on board. I'm still enjoying the ride. But it's difficult to enjoy the ride when the guy that's supposed to be producing is not producing. And now here's the other thing: people are freaking out. Well, he hasn't been on a line with Trevor Zegras all season, and um, let me look this up.
He also hasn't had, I mean, he's been out for the majority of overtime. He hasn't had as much playing time.
Yeah, and so that's what people are freaking
And
out
he goes
about
into
is
talk it like just not tolerating him coming in the way he came in, whether that be you know, or like he just didn't come in ready for his second season and no one's denying that, whether it be the injury or what. But he's not getting as much playing time. And I think it's all contributing. And I think that it's become crazy.
yeah, it has. And I'm looking, everyone, and I tend to agree that this is one thing. So we talk about Christian Dvorak, potentially flourishing because he's on a line with Trevor Zegras. And I can see where people might be saying and probably screaming in our podcast right now, well, he's not producing because he's not with good enough players. He's not with good enough players. Because I
Good
looked at,
players can play with anyone.
well, wait, what? Say that again. The elite players.
Good players can play with anyone.
Yeah, it's true. Um, but at the same time, it seems like I'm looking at Dauber Sports has a cool tool called line combinations.
Ooh.
It's like a part of their frozen tools, and essentially you can search any player and then you can put on these different situations and you can see the line combinations that they've been on in all these different situations. So I put in the 2025-2026 regular season, all periods, even strength for Matvei Michkov. And the line that he's played most with is Bobby Brink and Sean Couturier. Then it's Bobby Brink and Noah Cates, Coots and Owen Tippett, Coots and Konechny, and then Dvorak and Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov. That's the fifth most time he's spent on a line. He's only spent and I don't know how updated this is, but so far it says 51 minutes on that line as opposed to almost 100 minutes playing with Sean Couturier. And that's not even including the other couple line combinations that include Sean Couturier. So I get it. People want to see him with Trevor Zegras, and we actually got that. I don't remember what game it was. Within the last week or so, they started the game, Zegras and Michkov on the same line, and then got shaken up. I don't think I've ever seen have you seen a coach shake up? Have you ever seen a coach shake up the lines as much as Rick Tocchet does?
No,
It's a
he
little
just put up
concerning.
defensive pairings ahead of yesterday's game. But my big thing, like my thing is, I just think that if you are a good enough player, you adjust. And also, my argument to those lines is Tippett's been scoring. Like Tippett and Cates both scored last night or
Yeah.
Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday night?
Tippett scored last night.
I think Cates scored last night as well.
He might have. I didn't.
But
I
these
didn't.
like these lines, you make it work. You're not handed like a perfect line. You put Ovechkin on the Flyers' fourth line, you think he's not going to be able to produce. He might not produce as much, but he'll still be Ovechkin, right?
Yeah. Tippett and Zegers scored last night on
Oh, Zegers.
on a
Okay.
tip in.
Okay.
I forgot that momentarily. Um,
But
I agree. So here's my question then. So excluding that, you're saying Matvei Michkov should be, if he really truly is an elite player, he should be able to play with everyone. So then I guess where's your argument then that that the criticism is too much? Because if it's not the line mates, it's really just him not playing well. So I guess what you're saying is like you're okay with him just not playing well right now. You just think he needs to figure it out.
I think that I'm not okay with it. I think that it's more so an off ice thing.
Okay.
It's the level that it's become.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
yes, he's not playing. I will fully be the first one to admit he's not playing up to expectations. He's not playing, he's not doing what we want him to do. And
Or
it's disappointing, but also the level that it's gotten to of media criticism, critique of media criticism, hyper analyzing every damn shift. Like he had two turnovers the other night, that being the headline when the Flyers lost. Like we need to tone it down a little bit with the coverage of it and the amount of like exaggeration that comes into his play. He is playing terribly. Or not terribly, but he's not playing up to par, right? He's not playing up to expectations, and there's no denying that. But the level of exaggeration of it, and that's not the only problem on this team. There are so many problems on this team, and there are problems on every team. Don't get me wrong, there are problems on Stanley Cup winning teams, but like he cannot be the center point and like the focus when there are other things too. And it's not your headline, it's your third graph, second graph, but it doesn't come in that first graph or that headline when you're writing a story. And it has been.
That's
And that's
fair.
my argument.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm just not that happy with him. But I think the point to where you're suggesting, well, first of all, Philadelphia fans, but the point where you're suggesting a standing ovation is just like ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
this isn't Jack Fritz and the Phillies. Yeah, we're not doing a standing ovation for the Flyers. They need to suck it up.
They need to suck it up. Okay, Lewis, I gave my hot take for the season. What's your hot take at this point, if you have one?
Oh
Flyers or
man,
prediction, anything around that? Your final take for the day.
final take for the day. That's tough. I, damn. I wish I. Oh, okay. How about this? The Minnesota Wild won't make the playoffs, and going and getting Quinn Hughes is just gonna blow up in their face, and they've set the franchise back like 10 years
Oh,
by trading for Quinn Hughes.
oh,
Yeah, I think Zeev Boyum is gonna be an elite player, and Quinn Hughes is gonna at the end of his deal. What's it? I guess he ends in 2020. At the end of the 2026 twenty
next
seven
season. He's
season,
done after next.
he's gonna go to New Jersey and Minnesota. Billy Guerin will have just set back the Minnesota Wild a decade. That's my now. It's going to be a while for that to follow through, and we won't know that first. So, ask me in a year and a half how that take is
A year
going.
and a half.
The I wonder. Have you ever? there's a, there's the apps and stuff where you can bet on not just you can bet on other things, but besides sports, like you can bet on everything. I don't even know what the app's called. It's like I saw some stupid ad about it, but I wonder what the that would be an insanely specific bet to have on like FanDuel. Will Billy Guerin have ruined the the Minnesota Wild in 2 years, and what would the future be like that built on that? What's the money? What's the line on that, or what are the odds? I
Oh,
bet you it's like I bet you it's for him to have ruined the Minnesota Wild. I bet you it's like plus money because it's probably not going to happen. But we'll see. That's my hot take. Is that all of a sudden now it's hard to say when the West is. Let's just put it in perspective of what the East is looking like. So the
yeah.
East, we said the Flyers were 9 points out of first place, right? In the East,
In the
in the 11th place. The Ducks are in 11th place, but they are a lot more than that
well,
out of
you
first
gotta
place.
take Colorado out of it, right? Like Colorado is an elite
Okay,
team this year.
but even then, they're
74 points. So
huh
even then, they're 11 points out.
out of second
Oh
with
no, sorry, my
Dallas.
math is so wrong. 3, 6, 16 points out? No, that can't be right. You do the math.
Yeah,
16?
yes, 16 points. They're 16 points out of second place.
16 points out of second place.
Yeah.
Well, as we can conclude this episode, I think the biggest takeaway is that I can't do math. I go to a
No, you're
liberal.
right. You just said it. You did the math. 16
Picking
points.
up. The podcast will continue. I know
Yes.
I'm at school now, so it's a
Yes.
little different.
Congratulations. Have
Broadcasting live, not live, filming in Boston, officially, home of the enemy. But the podcast will continue. My math will not get better. And hopefully the Flyers kick some
do.
Bruins butt when they come to town.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll see. Maybe you'll have to get in there somehow. Get in the Bruins locker room.
We'll see.
Some inside sources or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, well, I guess we'll see after tonight's game
Mhm.
how shakes out. But
As always, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram,
Instagram,
Twitter,
Twitter,
TikTok,
TikTok.
TikTok.
You can hear us on Spotify.
You can hear us on Spotify. And then obviously we have our website, which you can find through all of our social media platforms. We Really appreciate it. We're going to start be fun announcement. We're going to start doing weekly episodes, so it will be on a more consistent schedule. So you can always tune in on Friday and you will see an episode. It'll probably be posted before then, but guaranteed on Friday there will be one. So stay tuned, subscribe, and thanks for watching as always.